everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name's Krista. I'm from Spirit and Thread Crochet, and today I'm going to walk you through how to make this lacy crochet bralette top. So for this project, you're going to need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle, a size 4mm hook, and size 3 or 4 yarn. I prefer working with 100% cotton. This is from We Crochet. I'll have that linked in the description below. This yarn is a size 4, but this pattern can also work with a size 3 yarn. You'll just want to check the gauge swatch that I have in the instructions. I'm going to use this pretty sea green color. And we will begin by leaving a few inch long tail and creating our initial chain. For a size extra small, small, and medium, you're going to chain 8. And for a size large, you're going to chain 9. I am going to be making a size small throughout this pattern. So I'm going to start by chaining 8. I chained 8, chain 1 more as your turning chain, and half double crochet into the second chain from your hook. And then half double crochet in each chain across. And this should match the count of your initial chain. So for me, a size small, I should have 8 half double crochet. I just placed my 8th half double crochet. And now in this final stitch, I've already placed 1 half double crochet. Now I'm going to place 4 more for a total of 5. And you'll see as you place these half double crochet, it begins to wrap around to the other side of that chain. So now you're ready to work along the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half double crochet in my top chain here. And now in each remaining chain on my second side, I'm going to half double crochet. I like to hold my tail against my project here so I can stitch over it. My initial stitch count was 8, with my 1 top chain receiving 5 half double crochet, so I should have 7 remaining on the second side where I'm only placing 1 half double crochet. And here is your first row. Now, to begin row 2, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. That's just a turning chain. I'm not working into that chain. In each stitch, I'm going to place a half double crochet. And we're going to half double crochet in every stitch of this round, with the exception of the middle half double crochet of our top 5 half double crochet cluster. And in this middle half double crochet, we're going to place 5 more. That's going to create this pointed shape at the top of our bralette cup. So I have reached my top half double crochet. I placed my first, and now I'm going to place 4 more for a total of 5 half double crochet in that top middle stitch. In each remaining stitch, I'm going to half double crochet. And row 2, we are going to repeat until we reach the desired size of our bralette cup, with the exception of 1 final single crochet row we'll do at the end of our project, but you can already see that the bralette cup shape is taking form. So I'm going to begin a repeat row for you. All right, chain 1 and turn. In the second stitch, I'm going to half double crochet. And then I will half double crochet in every stitch of this row, with the exception of my top middle half double crochet. In that stitch, I will place 5 half double crochets. So I'm approaching the third of my 5 half double crochet. And in this stitch, I'm going to place a total of 5 half double crochet, and then half double crochet in my remaining stitches. And I'm going to repeat this row until I have a total of 7 half double crochet rows for a size extra small, 9 rows for a size small, 12 rows for a size medium, or 15 for a large. And you can see my sizing chart in the description below. I don't follow conventional sizing for shirts, so make sure you check out the sizing chart. And you can really make this custom. Those are our guidelines to make your cups according to my sizing chart. But really, you can half double crochet until this reaches the exact desired size for one of your bralette cups. Again, minus that single crochet border row we'll add at the very end of our project. So go ahead and continue repeating these steps until you've reached your desired bralette cup size, and meet me back here once you've finished. So here is my first bralette cup. I have 9 half double crochet rows. After the 9th row, I fastened off and I left a tail of about 1 foot. The reason that I did this is because we'll use this tail to sew our 2 cups together at the base here. So after you finish your first cup, go ahead and repeat the steps to create a second cup. I already started that. And here's my second cup. I'm placing my final few half double crochet, and at the end of this row, do not fasten off. Instead, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work to begin to single crochet along the bottom edge of your bralette cups. So I'm going to place 1 single crochet per half double crochet row along this bottom edge of my first bralette cup. And I'm approaching my tail. I'm going to tuck that in and single crochet over it. That'll make it a bit easier once we get to sewing in the ends. I'm going to skip over this center space here and go into my next half double crochet. And then continue to single crochet in each half double crochet row on the second side of this edge. I'm placing my final single crochet of this section, and now I'm going to join my other bralette cup. So position it so that the bottom edge is facing upward and your long tail is in the middle between your bralette cups. After my last single crochet here, I'm going to single crochet into the first half double crochet row in my next bralette cup, and then single crochet across this bottom edge in the same manner as your first. I just placed my final single crochet, and before I go too much further, I'm going to pause on these rows here, and I'm going to use a tapestry needle to sew up in between my bralette cups. And the purpose of this is to add a bit more support between your bralette cups. So the bigger your bust, the more rows you'll want to sew together in these 2 edges. Mine is a size small, so I'm just going to sew together a few rows. For a size extra small, you probably don't need to sew together at all. But I'm going to do just a few for a small, and I'd recommend a few more for a medium or a large. So I am just sewing together up, we'll say 4 stitches for a size small. And then I'm going to sew back down the way that I came for a little extra support. And there we go. I'm going to shorten this tail so it's less in the way. And now we can continue. So I'm going to pick up where I left off, and we're going to do row 2 of our waistband rows. Row 2 is going to be another single crochet row. So chain 1 and turn, and then single crochet into each stitch that you just made. I just placed my final single crochet stitch Now I'm going to chain 2 and turn. This chain 2 counts as my first double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet into each remaining stitch across this row. I just placed my final double crochet, and I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and single crochet in each stitch across. After this row, you can continue to add double crochet and single crochet alternating rows to add some more length to your bralette. I am going to stop adding more rows after this single crochet row because we still have to add our lacy rows. So I want to leave enough room for that, but know that that's an option if you do want a bit more length and coverage over your stomach. I just placed my final single crochet, and now I'm going to begin working along the side of my bralette here to add some length to my waistband rows so that this will wrap further around my waist. To do that, I'll begin by chaining 1 and turning 90 degrees to work along the side. And then I'm going to single crochet into my single crochet rows 1 time and single crochet into my double crochet rows 2 times. So here are those stitches. And now I'm approaching the side of my original bralette cup here. Into these half double crochet stitches, I'll also single crochet. The higher up you single crochet, the more coverage you'll have for side boob here. So I would recommend going up more stitches for larger sizes and fewer stitches for smaller sizes. I'm doing a size small, so I'm going to place 5 single crochet in the base of my bralette cup here. And now I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and begin my next row. So my chain 2 counts as my first double crochet, and in the next 2 stitches, I'm going to double crochet 2 together. And in the remaining stitches, I will double crochet. For my next row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. This counts as my first double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet across until 3 stitches remain. 3 stitches remain. I'm going to double crochet 2 together in the next 2 stitches, and then double crochet into my final stitch. So you'll see we're creating an angle here. And we're going to alternate those 2 rows until half of your waistband width is reached, minus about 2 inches between the 2 sides when they wrap around your back. And that's because we'll add a few final rows to tie your waistband straps through. So we'll repeat those 1 more time each. I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. In the next 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together, and then double crochet in each stitch across. And then chain 2, turn your work. This counts as your first double crochet in each stitch across until 3 stitches remain. Then you'll double crochet 2 together and double crochet into your final stitch. And here's how your rows will look. You'll want to stop decreasing with your double crochet 2 together and start just double crocheting in each stitch across once you have 6 stitches remaining. So for me, I have 1 more decrease row. I'm going to chain 2, double crochet 2 together, and then double crochet in my remaining stitches. And you'll see I have 5 stitches remaining. I don't want to decrease any more than 5 stitches because I want 5 stitches to remain for my final waistband loop row. So if you still want more coverage on the side of your waistband, you want this to wrap further around your waistband, continue adding double crochet rows at this point without decreasing. And that's going to look like chaining 2. That counts as your first double crochet, and then double crochet in every stitch across. And you could add as many more rows like this as you need. For me, I'm going to stop after a total of 6 double crochet rows, and now I'm going to begin my closing rows for my waistband loops. So what that will look like is chaining 1, turning my work. I'm going to single crochet into each stitch across, and then my waistband loop row, I will chain 1 and turn, single crochet in my first stitch, chain 4, skip 1 stitch and single crochet in the next. You'll see we just created a loop, and then we're going to chain 4 one more time, skip 1 and single crochet in our final stitch. Now we will fasten off and repeat these steps to create our waistband side on the second side of our bralette. So I flip my work. I'm going to fasten on to my other bottom corner and repeat these steps. After your first single crochet row, you'll want to make sure that your stitch count is the same on both sides, and repeat those steps. I'll meet you back here once you're all done. I just repeated these steps on the second side, and now I want to get back down to the bottom edge of my project so I can work along this side. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work, and then slip stitch in each of these stitches along the side. You're also welcome to fasten off and refasten on the bottom. I just like limiting the number of ends I have to sew. So I will be slip stitching because all of these stitches are going to get covered up on our border round anyway. And here I am at the bottom. I'm going to chain 1 after my final slip stitch here, and into the first single crochet of this bottom edge, I'm going to single crochet. And then in each double crochet row, I will place 2 single crochet and continue to repeat that across all of these rows. Now I'm approaching the open stitches on the bottom of my base bralette. I am going to single crochet into each of these stitches. And then once I reach the second side of my waistband rows, I'm going to place 1 single crochet per single crochet row and 2 per double crochet row. I just placed my final single crochet here, and we're going to add 1 more single crochet row along this edge before we begin our lace pattern. And the goal of this single crochet row will be to get our stitch count up to a multiple of 9 plus 1. So my stitch count, wildly enough, is already a multiple of 9 plus 1. My stitch count is 64, and so that's 63, a multiple of 9 plus 1. However, yours probably isn't. It's just kind of random that mine was. So I'm going to show you how to do the math to get the increases you need in this row. I'm going to pretend my stitch count is actually 60. So the nearest multiple of 9 plus 1 is 64. That means my current row needs to be increased by 4 to get to the proper stitch count. So I have 4 stitch markers here, and I want to evenly space the number of stitch markers I have, corresponding to the number of stitches that I need to increase by. And I'm going to space them out evenly along this row, or close enough to evenly. And in each of these marked stitches, I'm going to place 2 single crochet instead of 1 single crochet. Again, I'm not actually going to do this because my stitch count is correct, but you want to add stitch markers and then place 2 single crochet in each marked stitch to increase your stitch count for this row up to a multiple of 9 plus 1. So I'm taking these stitch markers out, but do what you need to do to get to a multiple of 9 plus 1. And all of your stitches for this row will be a single crochet, with the exception of your marked stitches. Those will be 2 single crochet. So go ahead and finish this row, and I will meet you after you're done. I just placed my final single crochet, and now I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. This chain 2 counts as my first double crochet. I'm going to chain 2 more, skip 2, and double crochet in the next. And I'm going to repeat that pattern across this row. Chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, and repeat that across this row, placing a double crochet in your final stitch. I just placed my final double crochet, and for this next row I am going to chain 4 and turn my work. I'm going to slip stitch into my first chain 2 space, and then chain 4 again, and single crochet into my next chain 2 space, and keep repeating that across. So another chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, and repeat this until only one chain 2 space remains. Here's how my row is looking. I have one chain 2 space left. I'm going to chain 4, single crochet into this space here. It's actually a chain 4 space because of my initial chain 2 for my double crochet. So I'm going to single crochet into this final space. I'm going to chain 2 and then double crochet into the second stitch of this starting chain 4. And that's the top of my double crochet. And here's how that will look. Now for your next row, you're going to start by chaining 2. This counts as a double crochet. Turn your work. And in this first chain 2, we're going to add 3 more double crochet for a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to single crochet into my next chain 4 space. I'm going to chain 4, single crochet into the next chain 4 space, and into the next chain 4 space I'm going to add 7 double crochet. There's my 6th and my 7th double crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet into my next chain 4 space, chain 4, single crochet into my next chain 4 space, and into the next chain 4 space I'm going to place 7 double crochet. And you want to repeat this pattern all the way across the row. I just single crocheted into my final chain 4 space, and I have this chain 2 plus double crochet remaining in this final chain space here. I'm going to double crochet 3 times, and then in the top of the second stitch, which counts as my double crochet, I'm going to place my final double crochet. Here's how that looks. For your next row, you're going to begin by chaining 3 and turning your work, and that chain 3 counts as a double crochet and 1 chain. Now I'm going to double crochet into my next stitch, chain 1, double crochet into my next stitch, and I'm going to leave my final double crochet unworked. So I have a double crochet in these 3, and I do not have a double crochet in the 4th of this cluster from the previous row. Now I'm going to chain 2 and single crochet into my next chain 4. Now we're going to chain 2, skip our first double crochet. In the second, we'll place a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and one more time, double crochet, chain 1. Actually, scrap that, chain 2. We're going to leave our final double crochet of this cluster unworked, have our chain 2, and then single crochet into the next chain 4 space. Chain 2, skip 1 double crochet, chain 1 into the next 5 double crochet. After your 5th double crochet, instead of chaining 1, you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and single crochet into my chain 4 space. Here's how that's looking. You're going to repeat these steps in each of the clusters remaining. I placed my final full cluster here, and now I have my half cluster remaining. So after my single crochet, I'm going to chain 2, skip my first double crochet in the next, chain 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, and double crochet in my final double crochet. Here's how that row will look. Now this next row is a bit complicated and funky, so follow along closely. Chain 1 and turn your work, and in the next chain space, place 2 single crochet and repeat. So in this chain 1 space, we're placing 2 single crochet. In this chain 2 space, we're also placing 2 single crochet. And again, in the next chain 2 space. In your next chain 1 space, place 2 single crochet, and then you're going to chain 8. You are going to count, moving to the right, 8 stitches over, including your first single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this 8th single crochet to the right, you're going to slip stitch like this. Then you're going to chain 1, kind of a snug chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet 5 times into this chain space you just created. Not into the chains themselves, but just 5 times around the chains. And that should bring you about halfway around your circle. Now you're going to picot. That is a chain 3, and then slip stitch into the first of those chains, and single crochet 5 more times in this chain you created to finish wrapping it out. And we are going to repeat these steps to create these points along the bottom. So in our next chain 1 space, you're going to single crochet 2, single crochet 2, single crochet 2, and that will bring you up to your next chain 2 space, in which you'll also single crochet 2, single crochet 2 in the next chain 2 space, and single crochet 2 into the next chain 1 space. Here's how you're looking. And now again, you're going to chain 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Count 8 single crochet to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to slip stitch into that single crochet. Chain a tight turning chain. Place 5 single crochet into this chain 8. That should bring you about halfway around. And then add your picot. So chain 3, slip stitch into your first, and single crochet 5 more times into the second half of this circle. Here's how we're looking. So I'm going to do this with you one more time. In your next chain 1 space, you're going to single crochet 2, repeat, repeat. That brings you up to your next chain 2 space, single crochet twice into that space, single crochet twice into your next chain 2 space, and single crochet twice into your next chain 1 space. Now you're going to chain 8, and count 8 stitches to the right, 8 single crochet to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this stitch, I'm going to slip stitch to connect my circle, chain 1, place 5 single crochet into this circle, picot at the top of your circle, and then place 5 more single crochet. And here is how it's coming together. So go ahead and finish the rest of your row with these same repeats. I'll meet you once you get to this end. I just finished my final point here, and now I'm going to single crochet twice into my final chain space, and that row is done. So the last step of this top is creating a border row around the entire bralette, as well as adding some straps. So to do that, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work 90 degrees to work along the side, and place 2 single crochet into this double crochet row, place 2 single crochet into the next few double crochet rows, and once you reach a single crochet row, you can place 1 single crochet in that row, and once you approach your waistband loops here, I'm going to place 5 single crochet in each loop. So there's 3, 4, 5. I'm going to jump right into my next loop and place 5 single crochet. And that helps me wrap around to the top edge here. I'm going to place 1 single crochet per single crochet row along this top edge of my waistband rows, and I'm going to place 2 single crochet per double crochet row. I'm approaching the side of my bralette cup. I'm going to place 1 single crochet in this final single crochet row, and then turn to single crochet in each stitch of my bralette cup. Now, if you'd like, you can do single crochets along this edge and have it be a clean edge of the top. I'm going to add some picots because I think that'll be pretty. So every 2 stitches, I'm going to add a picot. So I single crocheted into 2 stitches, picot, single crochet into 2 stitches, picot, and I'm going to repeat this until I get to the 3rd half double crochet of my top 5 half double crochet cluster. That's where I'm going to add my strap. I reached that middle top stitch, and here I'm going to add my neck strap. So to do that, I'm going to single crochet into that 3rd half double crochet of this cluster, and then I'm going to chain 50 or however many chains you want to create your desired neck strap length. For me, that's 50. You might want it to be a bit longer and chain 60. Either is fine. I just chained 50. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work to single crochet into each chain along this neck strap. This is going to reinforce it and make it a bit more sturdy. So go ahead and single crochet into each chain of this strap. I'm single crocheting into my final few chains, and then I'm going to single crochet again into my third half double crochet, and then mirror my picots on the second side. So I'm going to single crochet in every two and picot and repeat. I'm approaching the stitches where I sewed my cups together, so I'm going to ignore where I would have placed this last picot. They'll kind of push into each other if I do. So I'm going to single crochet into my final stitch, and then in the two stitches that are sewn together, I'm going to single crochet two together. And then mirror on my second bralette cup. So I have 1, 2, 3 single crochet before my first picot. I'll repeat that here, picot, and then repeat these steps to create your second bralette cup border and your second neck strap. Here's my second bralette cup. I just single crocheted along the top edge of this side of my waistband rows, and I'm approaching my second set of waistband loops. In these loops, I'm going to place 5 single crochet each. And now I will single crochet into these final few rows on this open edge, 1 single crochet per single crochet row and 2 per double crochet row. And after my final single crochet, I will slip stitch into the first single crochet from this round, fasten off, and you are done. You'll want to sew in all of these ends, and you'll probably want to block or steam your project so that your points fall nice and flat. And then you'll want to make a waistband strap. So I just chained to create this strap, and I say make it about 24 to 36 inches so that it can go through the waistband loops that you made and hold your top securely around your waist. And here is your final look. Here's how the back will tie up, and the neck tie around the neck. And you are all done. I hope you loved this tutorial. Please let me know what you thought in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like it. Happy crocheting!